right now. There's something in your kitchen that once built empires, funded wars, and was traded for gold. Today, it's so common that you barely notice it. It's salt, a simple white crystal. Yet it's the only rock that humans actually crave. Not because it tastes good, because your body needs it to survive. Millions of years ago, animals crossed dangerous landscapes searching for salt. Even today, elephants walk deep into pitch-black caves just to find it. So how did a simple rock become one of the most valuable substances in human history? And when did humans first start eating it? This is that story. Act 1. The craving that came before humans. Our relationship with salt doesn't start with humans. It starts millions of years earlier, with animals, walking for days, across dangerous terrain, just to lick a rock. In 2007, researchers studying elephants in Mount Elgon, Kenya, documented something extraordinary. These elephants weren't just visiting caves occasionally, they were walking deep into total darkness, hundreds of meters underground, navigating by memory and touch to reach one specific wall. And when they got there, they used their tusks to gouge the rock and ate it, not for fun, for the salt. The volcanic rock in those caves contains sodium, and elephants need sodium to survive. Their plant-based diet doesn't provide nearly enough, so they risk injury, predators, getting lost in total darkness, just to lick a wall. And they're not alone. Deer, goats, butterflies, parrots, even insects, they all seek out salt. It's hardwired. And our ancestors had the exact same wiring. Act 2. Why your body demands it. Here's the problem early humans faced. The human body cannot produce sodium on its own, but every single cell in your body needs it to function. Your nerves use it to send signals. Your muscles use it to contract. Your brain literally cannot think without it. So when early humans were hunting and gathering, eating mostly plants, fruits, and roots, they weren't getting enough. They had a biological emergency. And at some point, they figured out how to solve it. The question is, when? Act 3. The first salt factory. The earliest solid evidence of humans deliberately producing salt comes from a site in Romania called Poiana Slatinei. In 2012, archaeologists found a settlement dating back to around 6050 BCE, over 8,000 years ago. What made this site special wasn't just the age, it was the location. Built directly next to a salt spring, a natural source of brine, salty water bubbling up from underground. And when researchers analyzed the artifacts, they found large ceramic vessels with salt residue inside. These people weren't just drinking the spring water. They were boiling it, heating salty water until it evaporated, leaving behind pure salt crystals. That's not an accident. That's a process. That's someone, 8,000 years ago, figuring out chemistry without knowing the word for it. Act 4. The first trade network. But Poiana Slatinei wasn't just a village. It was part of something far bigger. Researchers believe this site sat along one of the earliest long-distance trade networks in Europe. Salt from this exact region has been found at sites hundreds of kilometers away. Think about that. Over 8,000 years ago, people were transporting salt across massive distances. Not gold, not gemstones. Rocks that taste salty, but valuable enough to carry for weeks. And Romania wasn't alone. Around the same time, maybe even earlier, people in northern China were doing the exact same thing. At a site called Zhongba, archaeologists found pottery dating to 6000 BCE with heavy salt residue. But Zhongba revealed something more. Workshops, not a single family boiling salt for dinner. Organized production, multiple households working together to make salt in bulk, which means one thing. They weren't just making it for themselves, they were making it to sell. Act 5. The civilization built on rocks. Then there's Hallstatt, a salt mine in Austria that's been operating for over 3,000 years. When archaeologists began excavating in the 1800s, they found an entire Bronze Age civilization, built completely around salt, a settlement from around 1200 BCE, where salt wasn't just a commodity, it was everything. Wealth, power, social structure, all revolving around control of the mine. The Hallstatt people became stupidly rich, not from fertile land, not from access to the sea, from salt, because everyone, everywhere needed it. Act 6. Why it was worth more than gold. Here's why salt was absurdly valuable. It's not just about flavor, it's about preservation. Before refrigeration, if you wanted meat or fish to last, you had two options: dry it or salt it. Salting worked far better. Pack meat in salt, it pulls out moisture. Bacteria can't survive. Food that would normally rot in days lasts for months, sometimes years. So if you hunted, fished, or raised animals and wanted to survive winter, or travel, or trade, salt wasn't optional. It was the entire system. Control the salt. You control the food supply. Control the food supply. You control everything. Act 7. The word hiding in your paycheck. This is why Rome built an entire road just for salt, the Via Salaria, one of the oldest roads in Italy. The name literally means salt road, built to transport salt from coastal pans into the heart of Rome. And the soldiers who protected those salt caravans, they were paid in salt. This is where we get the word salary. From salarium, the Latin term for a soldier's salt allowance, which means every time you get paid, you're continuing a tradition. That started with handing someone actual rocks. In ancient China, salt was so valuable the government taxed it heavily. That tax revenue funded entire dynasties. In Africa, traders carried slabs of salt across the Sahara and traded them for gold, sometimes literally. 1 pound of salt for 1 pound of gold. Let that sink in. People valued a white rock as much as gold, not because it sparkled,